Holmes by Tolkien that do a truly wonderful job of capturing the essence of this amazing tale. Far over the misty mountains cold to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away at break of day to seek our pale, enchanted gold. The dwarves of yore made mighty spells, while hammers fell like ringing bells in places deep where dark things sleep, in hollow halls beneath the fells. For ancient king and elvish lord, there many a gleaming golden hoard, they shaped and wrought, and light they caught to hide in gems on hilt of sword. On silver necklaces they strung, the light of stars on crowns they hung. The dragon fire from twisted wire, they meshed the light of moon and sun. Far over the misty mountains cold to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to claim our long forgotten gold. Goblets they carved there for themselves, and harps of gold where no man dwells. There lay they long, and many a song was sung and heard by men or elves. The pines were roaring on the heights, the wind was moaning in the night, the fire was red, its flaming spread, the trees like torches blazed with light, the bells were ringing in the dell, the men looked up, their faces pale. The dragon's eye, more fierce than fire, laid low their towers and houses frail. The mountains smoked beneath the moon, the dwarfs they heard the tramp of doom, they fled the halls to dying falls, beneath his feet, beneath the moon. Far over the misty mountains grim to dungeons deep and caverns dim, we must away ere break of day to win our harps and gold from him. The wind was on the withered heath, but in the forest stirred no leaf. Their shadows lay, night or day, and dark things silently crept beneath. The wind came down from mountains cold, and like a tide it roared and rolled. The branches groaned, the forest moaned, the leaves were laid upon the mold. The wind lapped from west to east, all movement in the forest ceased. But shrill and harsh across the marsh, its whistling voices were released. The grasses hissed to their tassels bent, the reeds were rattling, and on it went, o'er shaken pool, under heaven's cool, where racing clouds were torn and rent. It passed the lonely mountain bare, and swept above the dragon's lair. There black and dark lay boulder stark, and flying smoke was in the air. It left the world and took its flight over the wide seas of the night. The moon set sail upon the gale, the stars were fanned leaping light. Under the mountain dark and tall, the king has come unto his hall. His foe is dead, the worm of dread, and ever so his foe shall fall. The sword is sharp, the spear is long, the arrow swift, the gates are strong. The heart is bold, that looks on gold, the dwarves no more shall suffer wrong. The dwarves of yore made mighty spells, while hammers fell like ringing bells in places deep where dark things sleep, in hollow halls beneath the fells. On silver necklaces they strung, the light of stars on crowns they hung. The dragon fire from twisted wire, the melody of harps they rung. The mountain throne once more is free. O wondering folk, the summons heed, come haste across the waste. The king of friend and kin has need. Now call we over the mountains cold. Come back unto the caverns old. Here at the gates the king awaits, his hands are rich with gems and gold. Farewell we call to hearth and hall, though wind may blow and rain may fall. We must away ere break of day, far over the woods and mountains tall, to Rivendell, where elves yet dwell in misty glades beneath the fells. Through moor and waste we ride in haste, and whether then we cannot tell. With foes ahead, behind us dread, beneath the sky shall be our bed, until at last our toil be past, our journey done, our errand sped. We must away, we ride before the break of day. Roads go, ever on, over rocks and under trees, by caves where never the sun has shone, by streams that never find the sea, over snow, by winter sown, and through the merry flowers of June, over grass and over stone and under mountains in the moon. Roads go ever on, yet feet that wandering have gone turn at last to home afar, and eyes that fire's sword hath seen, and whores in the halls of stone look at last on meadows green, and trees and hills they long have known. Look into my eyes. Truly look. Do I look mad? I don't think so. So I'm different, but I'm not mad. I mean, you're afraid of something, right? Spiders, needles, darkness. So why do my fears make me crazy? It's not fair. I'm just like you. Please, let me tell you my story. Maybe you'll understand. Maybe you'll believe me. Maybe you'll help me keep the promises I broke. Maybe you'll go back. I was always a klutz, tripping over nothing and running into walls, that kind of thing. And in all honesty, I really began to hate the ground. I never felt quite right on it. Of course, I never told anyone that. I never told anyone how claustrophobic I got or how lonely I felt without a breeze. I knew what they would think. I knew it wasn't true. I wasn't insane then, and I'm not now. Then, okay, maybe I did snap. Or maybe what I attempted would have worked. That depends on who you ask. But snapping doesn't make me crazy. I mean, honestly, imagine being surrounded by spiders all the time and having them crawl up your skin, and no matter how hard you try to brush them away, you can't. That's how it was for me. I couldn't escape the ground. Then one day, I was sitting on the windowsill. The window was open, and a cool breeze was blowing and tickling my face. The clouds were swirling above, and it was beautiful, magnificent. I realized I had to beat it. I knew how to fly, and I knew I could. I spread my arms and prepared to jump. Ah! Oh my God, what are you doing? Get away from them! My mother screamed and wrapped me in her arms. Oh, you can trust me, you know that, right? You can talk to me. I just wanted to be free. The next day, my parents told me they'd be taking me to see a doctor, just for a checkup. I felt suspicious, like they were lying, like something wasn't right. But I knew that wasn't the kind of thing I could argue about. I had always hated cars, the way they felt so unbearably closed in and tiny. It made me feel like screaming, but I endured it. I got to the doctor's office and sat down with the doctor, a bald and portly man. Ella, how do you feel? Oh, I'm good. How are you? Ella, I heard you tried to jump out of a window. Do you want to talk about that? Not particularly. That was a 2-story window, Ella. You would have died. No, I wouldn't have. I can fly. You can't fly. He was obviously very close-minded. He didn't even consider the fact that I was right. When he saw the discussion was going nowhere, he asked to talk to my parents alone. I was nervous. I didn't know what he would say or what they would believe. Ella, you're not a bird. I need you to understand this. You can't fly. Yes, I can, Mom. That's why the ground hates me. It's jealous. She just broke apart. When we got home, my parents told me that they'd be taking me to stay with some people who could help me, just for a while. I told them I didn't want to go, but they didn't listen. I said I didn't need help, but they said they didn't care. My mother helped me pack my things, I went to grab my comb and toothbrush. When I came back, I heard her mumbling at the door. I stopped to listen. Insane? Suicidal? Why don't I end up with a crazy daughter? I mean, honestly, why can't I have a normal child like the Petersons and their sweet little Anna? Why did I have to end up with a daughter who thinks she's a bird? It's not fair. Even the delinquent druggies like the Robinsons have would have been better. I didn't understand how the woman had always been there for me, but always understood. Could say such awful things about me. And it's such betrayal. When we arrived at the asylum, my mother kissed me goodbye. I thought she looked relieved. A seemingly nice man led me to my rooms, but as soon as I walked in, to the padded whiteness, he shut the door. Tested the doorknob. Locked. No windows, just a chair and a bed, just whiteness. Hello? Hello? Let me out! I'm not crazy, you don't understand! Let me out! Let me out! No! But no one ever came! Till he started to send doctors in to talk to me. It's always a different one each time, because no one would come twice. But the sessions always weren't the same. Ella, how do you feel? Like you care! You just want my parents' money. Ella, I understand you're upset. That's natural. But you don't understand anything. You're just a sophomore control freak who wants to pick every imperfection of everyone so you can categorize them and fit them into your little box so you feel safe. The guards would grab me and pull me back to my rooms. Let me go! Go! But eventually I stopped fighting. Because I'm not the perfect heroine that you read about in every little fiction book. Because real life isn't like that. In real life, you get tired of fighting. And so you're not that girl who continually defies authority until she breaks through the dictatorship and gets justice. It's not how it works. As I started to calm down, they began to allow me to have lunch and free time with the other patients. I felt so lost my first couple of times. Amongst the great big crowds, I just sat in the corner all alone. Then one day that changed. Hey, said an unfamiliar voice. I jumped to my feet, startled. I like this spot too. It's nice. Hi. I'm David, and this is Fred. He said, just straight to the air beside him. Ella? I faltered. You don't believe me either, do you? You're just like the rest of them. You think I'm crazy. Wait, no I don't. Just because I can't see him doesn't mean I think you're crazy. I mean, yeah, maybe you just have really strong arms that work like wings. He smiled, and from then on, I wasn't lonely at lunch or free time. But even when I felt particularly claustrophobic or scared, I knew I could always count on David. And when his voices started to taunt him especially much, he could always count on me. Then one day, we were sitting at lunch, talking about fireflies, when I noticed a guard leave his post and looked to get coffee. David, do you know what's up those stairs? I asked. Do you want to find out? He smiled, and so we ran up the stairs hand in hand. There's nothing interesting until we reached the 3rd floor, where we saw a dusty storage room. Do you think this is where they keep all our things? The ones from home that we said we couldn't have? Nah, I bet they pawned all that. It's not like any of us are really here for just a while. Then came the part where my life changed forever. We saw what was possibly only unbarred window in the whole place. Ella, you could escape. But no, I can't leave you here all by yourself. Ella, you have to. It's your only chance. We argued. I didn't want to leave him there in that awful place, and he didn't want me to have to stay. But, like I said, I'm not just some heroine from a book. I'm a human,